What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into Jethro Tull, probably one of my deepest dives ever into an artist, because we're talking about Stormwatch 2. There was like a little subtitle, A Needle on a Spiral and a Groove. This was a vinyl-only release on Record Store Day back in 2020, so 4 years ago from when I'm filming this. And it was all previously released material from the Stormwatch recording sessions. But now it's all in kind of a new sequence. It's gathered on vinyl. It kind of, in a weird way, feels like its own album, like, if Stormwatch had been a double album. Even though there are two songs that repeat themselves from Stormwatch, just was the case with War Child. I did War Child 2 earlier this week. That had two songs that were repeated. In that case, I thought one of them was better than the like, not the original, but one was better than the official release one. One was not. In this case, I think both are better than the ones that were on the original Stormwatch. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. It's a great listen. Just absolutely fantastic. The songs are fantastic. We have a live version of Sweet Dream for some reason. Don't know how that connects, but it's maybe, I don't think it's from this tour. It probably is from this tour. I think it is from 79. But I don't know if it's before it was released or after. Who knows? I'm sure somebody does. But it's a good listen. I do have one minor sort of complaint about the sequencing. I think side A could have been sequenced much better, but I'll get to that in a minute. So you have 9 songs on here. It opens up with Broadford Bazaar, your very acoustic, folky, kind of good feeling, enjoyable song. My complaint is I don't think this is a solid opener. I actually think almost every song on side A should kind of be resequenced, or actually 2 of them should be flipped. It would make a much stronger side. I guess 3 of them would be moved. But I'll get to that after I talk about each one. But it's your typical kind of folky, poppy, very acoustic bass, kind of feel good song. Nice little melody in there. Opens up really strongly, like it's going to be a good opener, with maybe like a slightly darker undertone, but then it kind of switches to a more upbeat feel that I don't think feels like an opener. Then we get Crossword, which is fantastic. This awesome sort of bass into guitar opening. There's this just kind of a nice mid-tempo rocker, some great guitar parts throughout the whole thing. Really good energy, good 3.5 minutes of solid, like Jethro Tull pop rock type energy. When I first listened to this, my idea was, these two just should have been switched. Right? Crossword would have been a better opener. Drop Broadford Bazaar second. But then as I went through the album, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Actually, I have more thoughts on this. Next, we get a really early version of Done Ringhill, which is just Ringhill, no H, which is much more like an acoustic Aqualung track. Like, the production is really simple. The acoustic guitars are bright. I think the studio version, you can tell it's a little more overproduced, and it's got more of a bigger sound, even though it's still somewhat of a simpler song. I think this version just works better, sounds better, has more of a pure Jethro Tull acoustic purity to it. This should have been the opener. It's only like, 2.5 minutes long. It's a nice, breezy opener. That should have been the opener. Then it should have went into Crossword. Excellent pairing there. Then it should have gone into what is the closing track on side A, but what I think should be the third track, an early version of Dark Ages. This is one of the ones, Dung Ring Hill and Dark Ages were both on Stormwatch. This one, I think, just completely maybe not blows away, because I like the originally released version. But this one, Dark Ages on Stormwatch, sounds like a prog band trying to sound big in the late 70s and still be relevant. This version sounds like they maybe made it in the early 70s, and the production's a little subtler. There's this riff that they kind of hit in a lot more of a like low-key fashion, where on the studio version it's like dun 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 dun, like this big energy. There's this build up here for like the first minute and 45 seconds without any vocals, and it totally sets the tone, totally just kind of creeps in and creeps up on you. It sounds darker, it sounds more mysterious. When the vocals finally drop, like Anderson's really mixed up front on the vocals on the 79 version. Here it just, everything is just, it's not as in your face, it's not as like up there. It just has this much more kind of low key vibe. So as the song develops and builds and we get like those nice jammy sections between the vocals, those parts just kind of seem to hit harder because you're escalating the energy of the song. This one's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes longer than the 79 version. And just absolutely amazing. The shifts that happen after the vocal parts throughout the song just work better because of the subtlety of the opener. Amazing solos, amazing little prog passages. This is epic. Like, I think this version of Dark Ages, even if you love the original and like know that by heart, almost makes this an essential listen. Absolutely fantastic. And so my version of side A, which I think makes this work so much better, you open with Dung Ringel, then you go into Crossword, then you drop the Dark Ages, and then you have Broadford Bazaar as sort of your like feel good come down after Dark Ages. I think that makes for a better side A. Interestingly enough, though, in the sequencing that you have now, if you listen to side A, which ends with Dark Ages, then immediately put on side B, the Urban Apocalypse, which follows, that's the name of the song, works perfectly after Dark Ages. So there's that. But either way, I think you have a better side A if you just tweak it a little bit. Side B works perfectly as it is. Urban Apocalypse starts off with this really nice kind of gentle piano and flute opening. Then we have this really funky like organ sound that's just like saturated with just awesome funkiness. And then we drop into what is kind of a funky, proggy kind of rock vibe. Really great song. Nice bouncy groove to this. About 4.5 minutes long. About 3 minutes in, we get some really nice funky prog passages in there. Great opening to side B. Great song. Should have been on the original. Like, there's a version of the original that has this version of Dark Ages, that has Urban Apocalypse in it, that has Crossword, that I think makes that maybe a stronger album. The second song on side B is Kelpie, which is a really nice, feel-good, upbeat acoustic type number. Nice fluty folk rock, great energy, some nice tasty playing by Barr towards the end. Really good song. Complements Urban Apocalypse really well. Then we get Man of God, another highlight on here. We get a nice sort of light acoustic-y but proggy vibe intro. Then we get this really nice, slow, patient, repetitive guitar riff that reminds me of Leonard Skinner's On the Hunt, the dun 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 dun. But it's not a southern rock riff, but it gets repeated throughout the entire thing and has that sort of like energy that On the Hunt has, but in like a Jethro Tull English proggy way. Absolutely fantastic. Gives this song this absolute slow burn mid-tempo swagger that is fantastic. The only issue I have with this song is the chorus is essentially "I'm a man of God" repeated a whole number of times, so it's not the best chorus in the world, but musically the song just hits it out of the ballpark. We get some, as the song goes on, the organ kind of comes in and gives these nice organ stabs to like accent to like, just highlight the riff. Yeah, just a really good 6.5 minute slow burning riff based Jethro Tull song that is fantastic. Just hits it out of the ballpark. And then it closes out. We get a studio version of the Sweet Dream fanfare, which has this sort of classical pomp fanfare for like the first, it's 2.5 minute song, about the first minute and a half, minute 45. And then Barr comes in with some guitar and we're like inching towards Sweet Dream territory, right? And then it goes right into a live version of Sweet Dream, which is just epic and huge and fantastic. And this is how they would open shows. They play that fanfare, come out, go right into Sweet Dream. And to think that this closes the album in equally great fashion as it would open a show, just the awesomeness of this song. Yeah, this is a really good listen. Really enjoy this. I do think if you get it and you download it and you put it on a playlist, I highly recommend you rearrange side A because I think it works better with, at least for me, with the Dunring in a crossword, into Dark Ages, into Broadford. Perfect side A. Just flows better. When I ranked the studio albums, I had Stormwatch at 12, which I was like, wow, that seems really low. It seems like Stormwatch should be higher. And then I looked at what was above it and I was like, wow, this band has deep pockets. This is a good catalog. I think I might put this at 12 and bump Stormwatch itself to 13, to be honest with you. I almost kind of don't want to. I think the Sweet Dream almost makes it not fair, but Sweet Dream was never really on an officially released album. It was, on like a compilation-ish album. But then again, this isn't an officially released album either. So, I don't know. I did the Chateau Disaster tapes, that officially released version of that, Aibonville, whatever it was. I had that in like around 7 or 8. So then Stormwatch would officially drop to 13. So maybe I would have this at 13, Stormwatch at 14. But yeah, this is a really, really, really good release. I don't know. I think you can still get it on Amazon, the vinyl version. If not, it is out there on YouTube to check out. But yeah, it's a good listen, man. It's also on Discogs. You can get it on Discogs pretty cheap. People are selling it. So if you like Stormwatch, if you like Dark Ages and really want to hear a better version of Dark Ages, IMO, I would seek this out and get it. It's a good listen. Jethro Tull's got deep pockets, people. This is a deep rabbit hole. I'm really happy to be really far down in it. All right. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have thoughts on this album, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe, like, share, comment. And yeah, go listen to this version of Dark Ages. It's like a completely different beast in a much better way. That's all I got. Peace. Talk to you later.